Yo, what up guys, Drift5D here, and a new tournament just launched in Raid Shadow Legends that requires you to beat the Fire Knight castle with specific champions from a few factions. It's called the Telerian Alliance, that's made up of 4 factions right there. And if I head over to the tournament rewards, that's the first thing you want to do to find out if this tournament is going to be worth your time and worth your energy, considering all you have to do in the game right now. So from looking at the right hand side of the tournament rewards, it looks like this is not going to be worth it. Usually when we see tournaments like this that require you to use champion from a specific faction or 2 factions, you see a void shard at the top. But when they make it so slack that they allow you to use champions from 4 factions, not just 2 or 1, they make the reward a little bit less enticing. So right there at the top for 2,100 points, I'm expecting to see a void shard if it's 1 faction or 2 faction, but because this is 4 factions, you are allowed to use for this one Banner Lords, High Elves, Secret Order, and Barbarians faction. That's why the rewards are this low. So you agree with that 1,750 points for an ancient shard is gonna be totally worth it, especially if it will give you the opportunity to get some of these rewards on this side also, especially if your faction nobody is really pushing hard for this one. So this is something you can pick up once ancient shard from here. This is a sacred shard, and 1 ancient shard also from this point. So that's where I'm going to be aiming for, 1,750. That's the whole purpose of me making this video. Else normally I'll look at the tournament rewards and say this is not totally worth it. So if you do have some free energy saved up, you can head to the Fire Knight and get this number of points. If you're going to stop at 1,000 points maybe for this so essence or something, it's not so coin, it's not gonna be worth it. So unless you're going to 1,750 points, that's when this will be worth it. As for this other resource, it's not worth 2,100 points. It's not worth it. I'm not going to be pushing for this one. It's something that we are still trying to get our head around in raid and get blessings for champion and all that unlocked, but it's not worth 2,100 points. So if I head over to the Fire Knight, you know why I'm doing it right now, because I do have some free-to-play energy to spend, and I can use it to get at level 20, 1,750 points at level 20. I'm going to show you the teams that can be the Fire Knight at this level, or if you're kind of end game, you can actually farm it at 24. Yes, I did try 24. This team worked at 24 and it worked at 20. But for just speed farming, to just make it extremely fast, it's recommended to farm this at level 20 so you can be done with it and focus on other content. All right, so this is the team I've put together. Luckily for us, this Telerian Alliance does have a lot of champions that you can select from. So if I head over to the champion index, let's take a look at some of them that are MVP, totally MVP right there. The first one I'll head over to is Secret Order, and you can find the best champion for this content is an uncommon champion right there. Amiga, your trusty Amiga comes in there, and it's also the right affinity for level 20 content for the Fire Knight. So that's Amiga right there, the first priority that most players will be using to keep the Fire Knight turn meter down. Once you have it, once you have his shield down, you can keep it down the entire battle if your Amiga is fast enough, especially if it's also in relentless set. All right, that's the first champion that I'll call out. The second one will go to, I think I have to give it to a legendary champion. No, let me give it to an epic. The second most awesome champion that a lot of people will be using for this is probably gonna be, what's his name now, Farrakhan the Fat, because he comes in with that ally attack that allows you to take down the shield just like that. So by him taking this turn on the Fire Knight shield, others can join attack with him and the shield will just go down immediately. So that's what he brings to your team. But in order for him to use this at the right time, you have to make him not use this skill on turn 2. At least maybe use it once and then save it. So you have to save this skill for when you get to the Fire Knight and set this skill as a priority. I'll show you my team preset so you can see how I set him to always use this skill once we get to the boss and melt the shield immediately so we can start doing damage to the Fire Knight boss. So that's what it comes in there for, because if you cannot take down the shield, or if the boss keep putting up the shield, you have a hard time getting through that battle. And it can also help with damage with that increased crit rate and increased crit damage that it comes in there with for your allies. So that's the second champion that a lot of people will be using for this fight. And the third one, I have to call her out. Even if she's not in my team, the third one will be Seal the Drake. Everybody who has been playing Raid for that number of days, I think it's 180 days, will have the champion for free to use in content. Even if she's negative affinity for this boss, for the waves, she can stun, she can revive somebody that goes down. And if your team is a little bit squishy, Amiga might go down, your other champions might go down, she comes in there to bring that revive. Now for the boss, the only thing she can do for you is decrease speed on that A1. But again, she's negative affinity for that boss, so sometimes it might not land, especially for 20 content or 24 content. But she's good for the waves, she's good to revive, to make sure that you successfully get your team to the boss and take down his shield. So that's Save the Drake, and of course our heals, because currently in my team I'm not currently having any healers, and she might be able to make your run 100%. If this is a 70%, 60%, no, don't run it. She comes in there and makes it 100% with her revive, so nobody will go down and then you fail the run. All right, those are my call outs right there. Save the Drake, Farrakhan the Fat, and an Amiga. Those are the three top champion a lot of people will be using. We can't also forget War Maiden for those who do not have decreased defense. Without decreased defense, this run will be a little bit difficult in terms of taking down the waves and even taking down the boss. So if you don't have a consistent decreased defense champion, War Maiden will be the one for you. But for my team, I'm using a decreased defense champion from the Banner Lords. The waves hit extremely hard, even at 20 or higher content, but he comes in there with that decreased attack, so whenever they hit me, I don't even take that much damage. So that's a Stagnite right there, coming in with his decreased defense and weaken in one skill. He also has a slow speed on that A1, which is essential for the boss, so the boss don't get got his turn faster and put up the shield again. He will make sure that the shield stays down by slowing down this boss with that slow speed, so your Amiga can keep the turn meter down consistently. So that's what Stagnite is bringing to the team: decreased defense and decreased attack for the waves, and a slow speed for the boss. Of course, decreased defense also work for the boss. So I'll show you his team preset that I set for him to make sure he uses skill in the right order. So I think that's 4 champions that I called out that are MVP. So we cannot forget one more champion right now, Ronda. A lot of players do have her, and if you don't have enough champions for this faction to take it down, she will be one of the ones you bring to your team, even if she's negative affinity for this boss. Yes, at least on Dungeon 20, she's negative affinity, and also on Dungeon Fire Knight 24, she's also negative affinity. But a lot of people will have no choice but to use her because of this triple hit on this A1. I'm not using her for my teams, but if you don't have damage dealers like I will show you that I'm using, you can bring her in there just to at least add to the hits for that boss. Of course, when she's paired with Farrakhan the Fat, the shield will just melt down for that boss easily. We'll do a sample run and see how that goes too. I do have a Minaya and others, but I'm not going to be mentioning all these other ones. I'm just picking out the ones that are essential for your team, and if you do not own them, this battle will be a little bit difficult to take down. All right, if we head over to the High Elves, there are 2 champions I want to call out: Arbiter and Lysandra. We cannot forget those 2 champions. They are legendary. A lot of people will have Arbiter because that's an Arbiter mission, and she will help to keep your team alive if you do not want to use a Seal the Drake. Arbiter also performs that same faction, but she comes in there with a turn meter boost also, and also an increased attack, which is not necessary. But the turn meter boosting is what will make you take numerous turns. Now, if we are coming down a little bit, we'll see a lot of champions like Terrell, Royal Guard, big hitters, big nukers. They are good, but negative affinity for 20 content or 24 content. So I'm skipping through them and heading straight to Apothecary, our MVP speed booster for those of you who do not have an Arbiter yet. Sometimes even if you have an Arbiter but you feel like her revive is not what you need, instead you need increased speed, right? Apothecary is right there. He also comes in with that A1 right there that hits 4 times, which is what every player needs for that. I mean 3 times. I thought it's a 4 hitter. Every player needs this for that boss. So of course if you put Phantom Touch on it, it will be a 4 hitter, yes, but that's what he comes in there. If you don't have a healer, he comes in, also brings you healing. If the boss is putting up shield and maybe hitting you, he can heal your team back up to full slowly. So Apothecary is also a champion that can serve newer players who are trying to beat 20 content. I will not be using him in my teams because I'm fast enough. I do have a Lysandra in the leader slot, so I don't need an Apothecary to boost me along. But if you don't have somebody like that, he can be in a leader slot for increased defense, so those waves don't take you down so fast. All right, that's a call out right there for Apothecary. And reliquary tender, no. That's all I'm going to be calling out right now. If you're new to raid a few months, 3 months, 4 months, you shouldn't be going for an event like this. This is an end game dungeon. Fire Knight is an end game dungeon. If you can't beat it at 20, if you can't beat it at 24, you probably should not be farming this particular tournament. That's just the truth. Even if it had a void shard, I'll be like, should you really be farming this at 12, 13, level 14 just because of the tournament? No. 20 or 24, that's my recommendation. Another reason why you should not be focused on this tournament is because at the same time as this one is launching, a dragon tournament has not ended. A dragon tournament for speed artifacts, triple chance of getting speed artifacts, is currently ongoing right there. So a lot of players seeing this Fire Knight tournament will rush into it and start farming it. No, your priority should be this dragon triple speed, except you already have enough speed artifacts, except your end game, you have no need for speed artifacts anymore. Then you can focus on the Fire Knight at 24 or 25, wherever way you can beat it the most, and get that awesome savage set that you need from the Fire Knights. All right, let's head over to the Fire Knight boss and do a sample run and show you the team that I'm currently using to beat it at level 20. Even if the team can beat it at 24, I'm currently farming only level 20 so I can get this number of points required to get 1,750, right, and stop this battle. So hopefully that will be enough points for me to get both ancient shards on the left hand side of the rewards and the right hand side. So this is my team, and I'll show you the preset that I was talking about for Farrakhan the Fat that you need to do to make him use his skill at the right time. All right, Farrakhan the Fat, head over there. You see on round 2 he's gonna be using this to open, but then I set him not to use it anymore, so I want it to be available for round 3. So because if he uses it the entire battle, you might get to round 3 and it's not available for him to use to open. So that's the main thing you need to, maybe he can start with it for the battle, but after he uses it once, don't let him use it anymore. That's the way I set him. And then on round 3, which is the boss fight itself, he's set to open with it. It will be available for him to use it. Lysandra is faster than him, so she's set to open with her A1, so she doesn't go in there and try to do turn meter boosting or whatever. Of course, Terrell, everybody's going with their A1. Elder Skag can do whatever he wants, but there is something I noticed about Elder Skag. He can open with his A1, fine, because we don't have a lot of debuffs on the boss by then. But if you don't set this champion to use his skill as a priority, he will not, especially for this round 3. He will be using his A1 and A3 on the boss. I'm like, come on, you have an A2, which is your highest damage dealing ability, and he doesn't use it. So you have to set him to prioritize it on the boss after he opens with his A1. Amiga can do whatever. If you're kind of low on speed or autometer, you can set Amiga to only use his A1. But I want some damage out of him, so I'm allowing him use his A2. No allow here to keep the autometer down, so Amiga is my only choice right there to keep the autometer down. Of course, supported by Lysandra. We can't forget her. She's awesome for it also. Archmage Helm. There are other champions I missed out on. There's one other epic champion that is awesome for this boss also, that acts like a Lysandra. How can I forget him? Let's head over there and select what's his face. It's also from the banner lot. No, from where is he? Yeah, he's a banner lot champion. Here is Deacon Armstrong. How can I forget Deacon Armstrong? He's awesome. A mini Lysandra in the making. He also comes with a decreased defense. So if you do not want to run somebody, you don't want a Terrell right there. It's not a Terrell. You can use him as your decreased defense champion, also your Tomita and controlling champion right there. He's awesome. You don't have to have a Lysandra. He also has a right aura to put in the leader slot right there. I don't have mine built because I had a Lysandra, so I never had a chance to use Deacon Armstrong in any content. Hopefully one day I can test him out and use him, but he is right affinity for level 20. Bring him along, put him in the leader slot, and he can bring this defense for the waves and also for the boss and control the atom meter like a Lysandra would. Alright, let's run the battle and see how it goes. Hopefully it's a fast one. I run it first of all. When I tested it was a 4-minute run, and I didn't explain my nuka choice. I had choices of using other nukas. Astrolon is the right one. Let's say if you don't want to use, I'm using this nuka that I'm using for the waves and for the boss. There are many options to use as a nuka. Like I said, this champion is negative affinity. I do have this champion. I'm looking for other nukas that can be used. Eleanor is negative affinity. A lot of negative affinities in this boss. 20 content, that's what I'm not. Deliana is an option, but she's not built in nuking set. Is this, what's her name now? This free champion is awesome right there. The Sacred Order does have a lot of nukas right there. Like I said, Astrolan and this other dude. There are a lot of options, but I already have Edaskag built out. That's why I use them as my nuka. Else, you can use any of these champions, whether they are single target, they are awesome for the boss, and they can nuke down. Rare category, you can also use any of these two champions. They bring in turn meter reduction also. That's the faction, and that's my choice of a nuka. Use even a, what's her name now? Your starter champion can be your nuka. In my case, Ethel can be my nuka if I want to use such a budget team for level 20 content. She comes in with a stun set also. All right, let's run this battle and see all the way to the end and see whether it's a fast one or it's a slow one. Now that I have all the right presets set, this is totally not worth it, but if you have nothing else to spend energy on, head over to the Fire Knight and farm it. At level 20, I'm probably going to be selling 99% of the gear I get from this content. It's level 24 that I would love to farm, but that will make it a 7 minutes run, and I'm not willing to run a 7 minutes run for this Fire Knight battle right now. So let's see how the battle goes. All right, we're onto the boss, and let's see if we can take it down in less than a minute or so at this stage. Farrakhan will always open with its skill, and the shield should go down with 2 more hits to go. And that's it. So with this shield down now, damage can be dealt and everybody can take their turn. Success, like I said, this team also works in higher stages of 24, and I've tried it. It did work. It only took 7 minutes. So, but I'm not going to be running on that stage because it's just 1,750 points I need to complete this. Let me know in the comments below which teams you're using to beat this Fire Knight with this Telerian fraction that is required for this tournament, and if it's a challenge that you think is worth going for or totally skipping out on, considering there's a fusion for the Rat King coming up. Later, guys.